We're going to move on now to the Moose Jaw Miller Express. This is a team bringing back, in terms of guys coming back, pretty exciting list of a few names that they get to bring back this year. And, you know, this is a team just a couple years removed from a finals run. What can you tell me about this Moose Jaw Miller Express roster, Joe?
Well, this is interesting. It's another year where we're seeing a changing of the guard at the top, right? There is no more in terms of what they're going to be seeing with the coaching staff. So that's going to be the big question mark. Although, you know, there's not a really Mikey Gonzalez is kind of just sort of going to be at that spot where he can just go with the flow. This team knows what to expect out of themselves. And to your point, they've got some returning veterans to go with. William Edwards comes to mind. Thomas Soto comes to mind. Nathan Pichot comes to mind. Weston Walls is coming back, for goodness sakes. This is going to be a team that's going to be very veteran-laden. They know what to expect. Eric Marriott set the wheels in motion and set the bar high in 2022 and 2024. I have no doubt that they are going to root again. I'm going to eat a little bit of crow because I do remember last season saying, I don't know, this might be the year where Moose Jaw takes a bit of a step back, and they took Saskatoon to the brink. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut when it comes to previews and predictions at this point, and just say I think Moose Jaw is constructed really, really well, and I think that they're going to be in a great spot to be off contender again in 2026.
Well, our show just got a whole lot shorter if Joe's shutting his mouth the rest of the way. Ian, what can you tell me? Because when I talked to Michael Gonzalez, obviously the big thing for him was we have some big, important players coming back that'll set the tone, set the culture. Thomas Soto comes to mind. William Edwards, I believe, is coming back. Weston Walls, I believe, is coming back. When you look at this Moose Jaw team, those big names, does that obviously help get off on the right foot?
Absolutely, and those names that both of you have mentioned are MVP caliber players in Edwards, record setters in Thomas Soto. Weston Walls was in the running for, again, Levi Abbott just ran away with that award, but Weston Walls was a candidate for most outstanding pitcher. Walls is an interesting one because you can get runs against him, but he can eat up a lot of innings and he can strike out a lot of guys. So he'll do both. He's a high event pitcher, but he's a good one. And then Nathan Pichot in the bullpen, just a revelation last year, and expecting better things from him this year. So I find them a funny team because I find they kind of they go around the 500 level during the regular season, and you're just kind of like, okay, they're in third place or fourth place or whatever they're in. Your expectations are kind of muted with them, and then the playoffs come and they're like, here we go, let's do it, we know what to do. And I feel like Regina kind of out Millered the Millers last year. They kind of did a similar thing where their regular season was close to 500 record, and then they just took off in the playoffs. So but I expect them to be good. I kind of look at them as almost like the Lethbridge East kind of roster where they've got some really good pieces there, and they should be consistent and steady and a good ball club this year.
Yeah, for sure. They seem to get out the brass knuckles come playoff time and just get scrappy and find ways to win. It has been that way, like you mentioned, for a few years. They made the finals not that long ago, so we'll see if they can maybe find that magic again. And like you said, it kind of seemed like last year they were fumbling around 500 for a good chunk of the season. There was stretches where you're like, I think they're going to fall off. There were stretches where you're like, I think they're going to blow up. They're going to go up the standings here. They found their way. Of course, when you play Saskatoon in the first round, they did have a good showing, but that's a tough opponent for any given year, the way that they were playing. But they did bring them right to the brink. So we'll see what Moose Jaw can do this year, and if they can carry over some of that momentum from that playoff run with those guys coming back, we'll see what they can do.